So these are some fish that I took a photograph of at Super U, or Super U, should I say, in France here. And I'm going to have a go. Just going straight in with the watercolour to see if I can capture those scales. So there's going to be a little bit of wet into wet going on here. We're on dry paper. This is the hot press paper, which I've starting to learn now, painting on it a few times, that you've just got to just let that watercolor soak in a little bit, and then you can use it to create those wet into wet washes and so on. So some blue in there as well, isn't there? It's kind of a bluey green. It could be a case of putting paint on and taking it off, I think. I don't want to go too dark with it. Almost goes maybe a bit of lavender on the underside. We'll get that other fish in there in a moment. There's the dark on that fish that's next to it that actually probably makes it stand out a little bit. But I need that white of the paper there pretty much. And there's some nice light on here, so I need to probably retain some of that white of the paper. The sketchbook's a good idea, or a good place to practice things like this. And if it doesn't work out, I could just do a gouache painting over the top of it or something, or just gesso the page and do an oil painting on it at some point. So once the other fish is on here, it'll look like a fish. It looks like a Loch Ness monster at the moment. More blues. It's all quite delicate with these washes. And before it dries, I need to get in the scales. Slightly thicker paint. I'm just going to use black. It looks quite dark. So this is Skoda Perla, the size 12. This one. This is quite a good brush for this. It's got that lovely fine point. Slightly pointier nose, I think. And then back to that, so I'm using cerulean blue, I think, for those scales. They start very dark and then more into that bluey green. I'll just start with the one fish and then see how it goes. If it looks all right, maybe I'll paint some more. So it's all very soft, so I shall just dab some water on there. Bit of yellow for the eye. And that fin. So I'm sharing these videos on my other channel because it's a bit of a mixed bag really, and let's say animal demos don't tend to do particularly well on YouTube on my normal channel. Not that popular. There's more sort of landscape and cityscapes I think that wanted. I share obviously everything on my membership. I think it keeps it interesting, painting a good variety of subjects. So quite dark there. Get this other fish in, and then it might start to not look like a Loch Ness monster. So let's do it the opposite. This one, we'll start with that dark. I'm just using my phone here as a reference for this, the reference images. So this dark comes across here. So there's a little bit of ice there on the eye. So it's important here I retain some of the white of the paper. A bit of lavender. So let's decide where that white paper is going to be and not lose it. Fish comes down here. Maybe we'll put that other one here, that other fish, but I shall just keep going until I get fed up of painting fish. So I think I could probably do with some Viridian, I think. Got a little bit here. Let's put it, where should we put the Viridian? It's not colour I normally use, but I think I could do with a bit for this. Again, that highlight down the side of the fish. So I'm doing the colours of the fish underneath, and then I shall put the markings or the scales. And quite possibly we'll resort to a little bit of gouache to put any areas in that I haven't got quite right. Again, now there's another fish going to go in there. I think maybe 3 fish will be enough. Quite tricky. I need a soft edge in there. So just manipulate that. just get those markings in while the paper's damp. This fish looks slightly different, but I think they are all the same. When I get too fixated on that pattern, because it'll drive me insane. And there's a dark in there. I'm just using the water there just to manipulate that a little bit and lose some of that detail that is the fin. Some more Viridian. Again, could protect that white paper, which has got the highlight on. But that's how I use a bit of white gouache to get a few highlights back. So I think with this one, I shall just pretend it's in the ice here. We'll be here all day painting these fish otherwise. Design crimson. This one's got a bit of a. Obviously, the Viridian and the Alizarin crimson will just create a neutral, so I've got to be careful there. So let's get those scales in. Let's just put a wash. So probably not a particularly exciting demo, as it's a bit slow going. I think we're probably going to need to do some markings on dry paper because they're a little bit more firm. I think compositionally, this one that's just here would, I think, help to just make it slightly better. Definitely going to need a bit of white gouache to put a few highlights back in. Right, I'll dry that off there. Maybe just make slightly more detail on those markings which I've now been lost. Starting to see some other greens in there. Right, I need to put the ice in. I've got a little bit of gouache there. Oh, there's add a bit of blue in it as well. Let's add a bit of red. So the ice looks like it's got a bit of a pink kind of look to it, but if I put some of this lighter value or this darker value around them and then add a bit of water, hopefully this might look like ice, we'll see. I'll leave the top of that one. I think that looks okay. Let's just throw some water on here. I'll even dab that off. There we go, that looks like ice. Got lucky there, I think. Sometimes watercolour's kind to you, not always mean. We use a bit of white gouache straight from the tube to brighten his eyes up a bit. I was told that to see whether the fish is fresh, that their eyes should not be too glazed. I don't eat a lot of fish, to be fair, not a huge fan. A little bit of sparkle. Let's zoom in a little bit. Obviously in these supermarkets, they've got lights on that just will be creating this reflection on the fish. And I'll start with white. I may put a little wash over some of that white if it's a little bit too stark, but we'll try it. Got the eye in the wrong place for that one, but oh well. Just a little sketch. And if I hadn't told you, you might not have known. I haven't painted the fin on that one yet. Fin on that one. I may have painted, I can't remember, but it's lost. I did put water and stuff on it, so it's an opportunity to put this dark. Just make a little bit less of it, but it's also putting a dark there that I can put a little highlight next to it as well. So it's going to serve a purpose. Always looking to get contrast somewhere. My initial plan with this sketchbook was to do lots of loose sketches, but they've all ended up being quite detailed. So just go with it. So I'm going to add a little bit of Azure Crimson and Ultramarine Blue with a touch of gouache to put some of that lighter value there. And a bit of gouache with that Viridian. This line's a little bit harsh, so I'm just going to add a bit of water and just soften that a little bit. Colour in the eye. That one. And just a few stronger bits of detail on dry paper, so we'll get these hard lines.